Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 17, verses 1 through 29. Now, Absalom's, the rebellious usurper against David, his lead counsel is Ahithophel, who was a very wise man. He was crafty, okay? And not always in the best of ways. And he says to Absalom, you should pick 12,000 of your finest men and go pursue David, because he and his people are weary and they're discouraged. And if you can, the sooner you get rid of David and cut down David, then the sooner this will be over. And he calls, Ahithophel says that David is the king, which it tells us that this is a rebellion, and they know it. One of the things, again, is that with Ahithophel and Absalom, is always this hatred focused on the father, on David. Well, Absalom asks Hushai, do you have any advice? And Hushai gives this flowery response, which almost makes it sound like it's divine word. And he says, his advice, Ahithophel's advice, is no good. He focuses on his Absalom's father. Your father is the warrior of warriors. You know that he's an experienced leader, and he's not just going to be waiting around for you to come and get him. He's laying a trap, and his men are in a bitter spirit. They're just itching for a fight. And it's like, you shouldn't go poking a mama bear, basically. Don't go poking the bear, is what Hushai says. You should be cautious, and before you go after him, go gather your full army. And it says in verse 14 that it was the Lord's purpose to thwart the advice that Ahithophel gave to Absalom. And, Absalom is going to do foolish things time and again that bring disaster upon himself. Because, again, he's not supposed to be the king, and he's not seeking the counsel of the Lord. He's doing what makes sense in the earthly realms. Now, after Hushai has had this counsel, in the court of Absalom, he passes on the news through this network of spies that David has set up. They pass the word, and two of the spies, they're trying to elude capture. And they're trying to find a safe house. And they get back to David and they give him the news. And David and his group, they flee across, a river. And Ahithophel is so upset that no one's listening to him, that they have rejected his counsel, that he goes and commits suicide. And you got to wonder what's going on inside of him that he has to be listened to, or he loses himself. And with that, Absalom loses his best advisor, his wisest advisor, his craftiest, you might say. So Absalom and his army, they finally get together and they're trying to catch David. And one of the things that's interesting is they make Amasa his new leader, because it's not going to be Joab, who used to be the general of the army. So they get Amasa. And God is using people to show up time and time again to provide for David. And I think we really need to see these people that show up with supplies for David as an extension of God's work. Well, thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.